Pumpkin, 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 pumpkin. Today, students, you are going to squash it as we use some pumpkins to draw from observation using the inspiration of our artist, Charles Demuth. We're also going to use a super secret art material today. These things are called watercolored pencils. And they are dried pigment paint inside of a pencil that you can activate with a little bit of water to turn into paint on your paper. So here's how we can start to draw. First thing I do is always the same. I take my pencil, students, and I write my name. Do your best, please, to write your first name, your last name, 3- name of your homeroom teacher. Give your paper a flip today so your name is on the back, and then observe how I begin my drawing. Starting first with closest to me on the one side of my paper, I'm going to draw some up-close views of my pumpkin as if they were coming off the page. So I draw a curve, bring it to the bottom in an arch. Then I'm going to pick another space on that curved line, and I'm going to make another one. This time bigger. Comes up and off the top of my paper. You could add a third if you wanted to, if you wanted a third pumpkin coming behind, but today I'm just going to show you two. Now I also see my pumpkin's got this little stemmy stem. They grow on a vine and I need one of those. So I make a letter V that's somewhere down below, and then I'll make a squiggly do rectangle roo. Letter V, squiggly do, rectangle roo. Here's the beautiful thing about nature. It's not perfect, and neither does your drawing have to be. Pumpkins are a little bit ugly anyway, so when you are drawing, it is okay if it's a little bit different than what you see in front of you. Now from my stem, I'm going to make 1, 2, 3 curves that come off my paper. That's starting to create the optical illusion of the ribs and edges on my pumpkin. Watch this again. Curve and stop. Curve and stop. Anytime you hit another piece of pencil, you stop. This makes, again, the ribs for my pumpkins. So think about what I did again. I drew an arch coming from the side, top of my paper. I added a little stemmy stem, and I began to draw curves. Now, students, you might be ready for my watercolored pencils. A little housekeeping tip, they're in the buckets on your table. If they need sharpened, you take a sharpener in my art room and you always twist over the bucket. Give it a 1, 2, twist and check. If it is into a point, you're good to color. If it's not, do 1 and check, 1 and check, and we take turns sharing as we're using our sharpeners. Now I want to color, baby, with my watercolor color pencils, but I'm going to turn them on their side and go back and forth like a windshield wiper. Hard, medium, light to white. I've made a value stripe. Value is shading in art. When you shade something dark, medium, light to white, that's called value. Pressing hard, medium, light to white. My pencil is like a windshield wiper as it works its way over my paper. What about a pumpkin that has mixed color? Well, I can even draw that in because my super secret art recipe watercolor color pencils are paint that is contained inside my pencil space. So I color, baby, color, as I want to illustrate the texture of my pumpkin. And I can even mix them like I'm going to shade here. Dark, medium, light to white. Dark, medium, light to white. Dark, medium, light to white. And I'm even going to add some line design in my stem. Maybe even throw in a little brown over here. And perhaps I want to even add a little bit of colored pencil by turning it on its side, students, and creating some value texture in my background too. I like to pick colors that are arbitrary. That means realistic. Things like I might see in an evening sky for pumpkins. All right, so I drew, I colored penciled, and now I'm ready for my ballerina brush. Here they come in my water, and here's the super secret part of my project. Circle, circle, circle in my water. My ballerina brush is always on her tippy toes, and observe. What, Miss McCart? My colored pencil on my piece is turning into paint. Circle, circle, circle in my water. Ballerina brush on her tippy toes. And she's going back and forth like a windshield wiper too. I am turning the watercolored colored pencil on my pumpkins into paint by activating with my ballerina brush. Artists, this is the last step in your pumpkins today. I drew, I colored, I'm using my ballerina brush over my surface, and I'm turning my pumpkins into paint. My ballerina brush is following the same windshield wiper movement that my pencil did to add color and texture to my piece. When these are done, they're too small to fit on our drying rack, so we're going to set them by the table by the window. And you may, if you have some extra time, even make a small one or a bookmark one or another pumpkin or a gourd. As long as you are practicing with our watercolor color pencils and drawing some of our still life objects on your table, I'm a happy art teacher. Let's give this a try today, artists. Good luck.